Dear friends, I welcome you to my channel. I am Taurus Berezovets. Today we will discuss the meeting of the Weimar Group and Triangle Plus, which will take place on Tuesday, November 19th in the capital of Poland, Warsaw. It has already been announced by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Poland, Radosław Sikorski. There, the foreign ministers of Poland, Germany, France, and their Ukrainian colleague Sibiha will gather to talk about peace. The resolution of the war. In Ukraine, obviously, European partners are rushing to start peace negotiations, evidently trying to get ahead of January 20th, the official inauguration date of the 47th President of the USA, Donald Trump. Meanwhile, American senators and Democrats have demanded that the Department of Justice and the Pentagon investigate the activities of the richest American entrepreneur, American businessman Elon Musk, in connection with his private contacts with representatives of the Kremlin, as well as personal conversations that he, according to publications in the American press, has with dictator Vladimir Putin. Musk himself reacted to the start of such an investigation, according to the social network X, with two emojis. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran also categorically dismissed it. The Wall Street Journal reported information about an alleged meeting between Elon Musk and an official representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran at the United Nations, which was not officially reported or announced. Vladimir Zelensky, in an interview with a Ukrainian radio station celebrating its 100th anniversary, stated that despite the difficult situation at the front, Ukraine hopes to end the war in the next 2000s. In 2025, Estonian intelligence reports that the Russian Federation plans to drive Ukrainian troops out of the Kursk region by January. The Free Democratic Party faction in the Bundestag plans to put to a vote the issues of supplying Ukraine with long-range Taurus cruise missiles. This was reported by the chairman of the Liberal faction, Christian Der. It is also known that representatives of the CDU-CSU party may vote for such a decision. Finally, Trump's press secretary will be 27-year-old Fox News journalist Caroline Leavitt. She is the youngest press secretary of a president in American history. Well, we will start with the story of the Abkhaz protests that began the day before, and today they have officially ended with the flight of the president of the unrecognized Republic of Abkhazia, Aslan Bjania. He fled to his ancestral village of Tamish, where he addressed his supporters and stated that he was ready to resign on the condition that the protesters release the parliamentary buildings they had seized. The whole uproar, I remind you, erupted because of the local government of the self-proclaimed Abkhazia. I remind you, this is a puppet state created by Russia, just like the so-called Republic of South Ossetia, through the occupation of these territories and their separation from Georgia. They are not recognized by anyone in the world except for Russia and some of its satellites, like the government of Nicaragua. The whole uproar erupted because the government of Bjania signed an unequal treaty with Russia, which will allow Russian businesses and banks to take control of the remnants of the economy of the self-proclaimed republic. This caused mass protests in the self-proclaimed republic and opposition. The day before, they brought people to the squares and they seized the government building and the local parliament. Bjani stated that in the event of his resignation, Abkhazia would be governed by Vice President Badra. Gunba, however, Bjania stated that he would participate in the next presidential elections. It is clear that the escalation of the situation in the self-proclaimed Abkhazia will continue in other Russia-sponsored puppet states due to the reduction of the resource base. After the start of the invasion of Ukraine, Russia is unable to finance its puppet regimes. And as they say, this is just the first alarming sign. A warning bell has sounded for Russia. The situation will worsen. However, there is little hope that the pro-Moscow government in Georgia, which, by the way, today, the results of the parliamentary elections were officially announced through the Central Election Commission, according to which, of course, the pro-Moscow party won. The Georgian dream, there is little faith that they will use this situation for deoccupation and for the reintegration of the territories seized by Russia. In short, everything will continue to remain in the same decaying state. Meanwhile, Democratic Senators Jean Shaheen and Jack Reed. They demanded that the Pentagon and the U.S. Department of Justice investigate the activities of billionaire Elon Musk and his contacts with Russian authorities, particularly with dictator Vladimir Putin. This was reported by Reuters. The corresponding letter from the senators was sent to Attorney General Merrick Garland and Pentagon Inspector General Robert Bass Storch. As noted in this letter by the senators and Democrats, Musk oversees contracts with the Pentagon as well as American intelligence agencies worth billions of dollars. And they are concerned that his contacts with Putin could cause serious harm to America's national security. These relations between a well-known adversary of the US and Musk, who receives multi-billion-dollar funding from the government, raise serious questions about Musk's reliability as a government contractor and holder of access to state-secret data, i.e. The senators emphasized. The Democrats also intend to seek Musk's removal from participation in government procurement if the suspicions are confirmed. Earlier, the Wall Street Journal, citing sources among Russian and Western officials, reported that Musk had repeatedly communicated personally by phone with Putin, as well as representatives of his administration, during 2022-2024. The first deputy head of the Kremlin administration, Sergei Kiriyenko, who manages the temporarily occupied territories in Ukraine, as well as hybrid subversive operations against the United States. The Kremlin itself denied contacts with Musk, as stated by Dmitry Peskov. Elon Musk reacted to the accusations against him with a post on social media X, using 2 laughing emojis, and noted that traditionally American media have turned into mouthpieces for leftist propaganda. It was previously reported, as Bloomberg wrote, that Elon Musk spent $119 million on Trump's presidential campaign. He was appointed to the position of head of a department that has not yet been created. The State Efficiency Department, DOGE, will also be headed by another businessman, Ramaswamy, who previously expressed narratives similar to those of the Kremlin. Meanwhile, a representative of the Iranian Foreign Ministry called the fake information from the media about an alleged meeting between Elon Musk and Iran's permanent ambassador to the UN, Amir Saeed, a falsehood. In a comment to the state Iranian agency IRNA, the official representative of the Iranian Foreign Ministry, Ismail Baghai, called such a statement false. Trump himself did not comment on the allegations of a meeting with the Iranian diplomat. Meanwhile, in Warsaw next week, on November 19th, negotiations in the format of Weimar Triangle Plus will take place, involving the foreign ministers of Poland, Germany, and France. Joining them is the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Ukraine, Andriy Sybiga. The meeting will also include new high representatives of the European Union for Foreign Policy and Security Policy, Kaja Kallos. Sikorsky himself, in response to a question about whether he would communicate with Putin, stated that he would demand from him the same as from the Russian representative Nebenzia at the UN Security Council: stop lying to the world. And to himself about this war: Russia has enough land and does not need to conquer the lands of its neighbors. About the need to bring the troops back to Russia. Nevertheless, the official purpose of this meeting is stated as crucial negotiations regarding the war of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. Clearly, representatives of the European Union have decided to intensify their own efforts, and yesterday's conversation fits into this same context. With Putin, Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz stated that such contacts will be intensified and will continue. It is expected that several other European leaders will also call Putin, although which ones are not specified. This was Olaf Scholz's first phone conversation with Putin in almost 2 years. The last time they communicated was in December 2022. In short, the fact that these negotiations are starting to take place more frequently indicates that European diplomacy has decided to actively engage in this process. Understanding that they have about 2 months left until the official inauguration of the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Zelensky himself stated in an interview with Ukrainian radio, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary: "I join in the congratulations, congratulating my colleagues from Minsk Radio, who have done and continue to do a lot for objective information about Ukraine and the world regarding everything happening in our country. So President Zelensky stated that despite the quite difficult situation at the front, Kyiv will make every effort to end the war no later than 2025. Exclusively, as Zelensky stated, it is very important to do this through diplomatic means. At the same time, he acknowledged that the situation on the Eastern Front is very complicated. Russian troops, although not quickly, they are nonetheless making progress. Zelensky stated that Ukraine has still not received about half of the weapons that were promised by the United States. At the same time, the losses of Russian occupiers have increased to the figure of 2,000 killed and wounded per day. To stop them, reserves equipped with the brigade we have been waiting for so long will be suitable, Zelensky stated. Meanwhile, Estonian intelligence reports that the Russian military command has set the task of pushing Ukrainian troops out of the Kursk region by January. This was stated by the head of the Estonian Ministry of Defense's intelligence center, ANS, Kivi. Selg reports, IRR. The territory in the Kursk region, according to Kivi Selg, is changing hands. Marine troops are concentrated in this region. The Russian Federation, in particular the 155th and 810th Marine Brigade of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. According to Estonian intelligence, which was also reported by representatives of the GUR and Western intelligence agencies, there are about 50,000 Russian military personnel, of which 10,000 are soldiers from North Korea, who mainly form rear units. However, there was information that part of the North Korean units has already been assigned as assault units to the Russian Marine units. According to reports from the New York Times, 50,000 Russian and North Korean military personnel are preparing to advance on Ukrainian positions. When they may begin, however, is not reported. In Germany, a government crisis continues, which has already led to early parliamentary elections scheduled for February 2020. The head of the Free Democratic Party faction in the Bundestag, Christian Dürr, stated in an interview with the Neue Osnabrücker Zeitung that the Free Democratic Party intends to bring the issue of supplying Ukraine with long-range Taurus cruise missiles to a vote in the Bundestag before the early parliamentary elections in Germany. He also noted that the Federal Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, as he said, is spreading legends about the collapse of the so-called traffic light coalition. According to Dürr, Scholz wanted to obtain an additional 3 billion euros for Ukraine and an additional 12 billion for the implementation of SPD projects. Previously, a similar statement was made by Germany. The General Secretary of the Liberal Social Democratic Party, Bijan Sarai, stated that the German government coalition has collapsed. Not because the representative of this party, Finance Minister Christian Lindner, was against allocating an additional 3 billion to Ukraine. He stated that the real reason was that Scholz was trying to push Germany's economy into, as he said, a debt break. Representatives of the opposition party CDU-CSU also advocate for the allocation of Taurus cruise missiles to Ukraine. Thus, supporters of allocating a new military aid package to Ukraine in Germany hope that Taurus cruise missiles may eventually be supplied to Ukraine. However, the final decision still rests with Olaf Scholz's government while he is in power. And finally, another appointment in the administration of newly elected President Trump is 27-year-old Caroline Leavitt, announced as the press secretary of President Trump. It is reported that she is the youngest appointee to this position in American history, 27 years ago. The youngest press secretary at 29 was under US President Ronald Reagan. She served as the head of the press office during his 2024 election campaign. In the year, she has experience working in the presidential service. During the first term, Leavitt was an assistant to then Press Secretary Trump, Kelly McEnany. Well, Trump himself characterized her as smart and tough, who will excel on the podium and help convey our message to the American people about how we will make America great again. She interned and later worked at Fox News. That's the news we have for today, friends. Thank you for watching this video, for your likes, shares, comments, and for finally reaching another milestone of 1 million subscribers. This is a great achievement for all of us. Thank you, friends. Take care. Glory to Ukraine, Ukrainian Armed Forces, Special Ops, Territorial Defense Forces, Major Taurus Berezovets of the Ukrainian Army. See you soon.
Пока-пока.
Bye-bye.